To use the filter gallery in Photoshop, go to Filter and then down to Filter Gallery. Inside Filter Gallery, there are loads of great filters. So select that and straight away you'll probably see something like this. One of the filters has been activated and you can see it could be glowing edges, it could be artistic. There's a lot to go through. So what have you got? You've got artistic, brushstrokes, distort, sketch, stylize and texture. Most have a few filters in them. So let's just go to artistic, expand that out and choose one of them. They're all very similar in the way they're used. So let's just go here, say for plastic wrap. This one has always had a bit of a bad reputation, but let's just choose it for an example initially. And you can see what you get. You get over here, this side, you've got the different settings. You can, if you change your mind and think, you know what, I don't want one of these ones, I can always simply just go here. There's a drop down and it's got all of the filters that are within the filter gallery. So you can just choose it from there. So you may find that a lot more useful. So go instead for paint daubs or perhaps choose torn edges. In this video, how to use the filter gallery. Filter gallery has been around forever in Photoshop. However, it was originally a set of filters you could buy, separate set of filters which were then added into Photoshop. Since then, they've been in the filter gallery and you've been able to manipulate images with these powerful filters. They're super useful to use. Sometimes people obviously will look at it and think, oh, not too keen on those filters, but there are a lot of really useful filters in there that can be used in countless ways. And I'm going to show you some examples such as selections, also using them as a smart object, etc. Whole range of different options. Now you can see this one changes the image into red and green. That's the effect. The effect is a torn edge effect and you can modify the image balance. So let's just change that. And as you see, as you change the setting there for the image balance, it will go more red, more green. But why is it choosing red and green? Well, you've got it there, foreground and background. If I cancel this and go and show you the tools panel, you'll notice you've got red and green when you started. Whatever you choose in that initially will be shown here. And that's what it's going to use. Many of the filters use this feature. So you can go to any of these like Chrome, whatever, will show one thing. Ah, there's one, halftone. Not all use it, but most use that red and green effect or the foreground and background. In the most recent versions of Photoshop, you can now also change the foreground and background within the filter itself, the filter gallery. Simply just come over here and just click here and change it maybe to red, and then click here and then change it maybe to green and then click OK. And you'll notice now you've got the colours there and then click OK. Notice it doesn't change the colours over in the foreground and background. Feature of the filter gallery I really like, and it's always been a good feature about it, and that is the colour, the foreground and the background. You can set it before you go into the filter gallery. So if you set it to red and green, many, not all, but many of the filters will use that red and green or whatever colour, of course, you set in the filter. So like torn edges, you will get a red and green effect. Now, glass distortion doesn't use it, which is a pity actually. It would be nice if it was influenced by that as well, but that is not there. In recent versions of Photoshop, they've added a little change where you can actually change the colour within the filter gallery. I think it's a nice touch, very useful and very long overdue. So it's a nice one where you can think, you know what, I think I might go with a blue or yellow. It is a pity that there's not multiple combinations which you can select from presets, but you can't expect everything all in one go in a filter. Now this filter, as mentioned, has been around a while, so any new developments in it, personally, I think are always welcome. I would love to see a lot more options in it, of course, as well. So what you can then do is you can modify the size, and you can modify the contrast. And you can see as you change it, the result obviously will be different. You can also just change here the zoom. So if you want to see more or less of the image, you can quickly zoom in it or out. Also notice you've got here some options here for line, circle, etc. So there's a variety of other drop-down features. But you notice down the bottom here, you've got this. It's really useful. Doesn't seem much, it just shows you what you're currently using. But you can, at any point, always add another one. So you just go down to the bottom here and just click here, new effect, just down there, and that will add a new one there on top of that. And you can still see the effect just about, but it doesn't have to remain as that duplication. It always just duplicates what you've currently got selected. But you may decide, you know what, in this case, I do want to go like plastic or watercolour or plastic wrap and so on. Just choose another one. Now, some of them you will find that the whole image is completely wiped out. But there you have it, another one. So if you've got this plastic wrap, anything that's above will obviously be applying above, so the other effect is below that. But there's no blend mode option, unfortunately. It'd be really nice if there was, but there's not. But now with that plastic wrap, you can modify the settings there, highlight and detail, smoothness. And if you want, you can always then click this one and then change that. And that will change the halftone. And you can modify different settings, go for dot instead. So you can change it in countless ways. And with this, you can delete them if you don't want any of these particular effects. So once you're happy, go up here and click OK. And there you have the effect applied in Photoshop. If you want, you can apply it again. So simply go to Filter Gallery here in the Filter and Filter Gallery, and that will just apply the effect again, and you'll get something like this. What you can also do is go to Edit and then down to Fade Filter Gallery. So Fade Filter Gallery, select that, and then you've got the option here of going through the blend modes. So you can go for multiply, colour burn, and maybe screen and so on. A whole variety of different options, as well as opacity, so you can modify that and again click OK. The filter gallery can be used, as with most filters, you can use them again and again via the repeat option in the filter menu. Really useful feature where you just apply it again, but also what you can do is you can use the edit menu and you can fade it. So you can fade it and use blend modes and also opacity. So that's really great way of creating all kinds of unusual effects from what is a basic set of filters such as the glass effect, sketch effects, all the various artistic texture effects and much, much more. In this case, I'm going to change this to white and click here and change that to black. So now if I go back into the filter gallery, it will be using white and black. You can override it in the latest version of Photoshop via those colours inside the filter gallery. But another thing you can do is here, you can turn this into a smart object. So if you go to Layer, Smart Objects and Convert to Smart Object. So select that, turn it into a smart object. You'll notice the layer then becomes unlocked. Unlocked, what you can then do is now go again back to Filter, and I'm going to go down to Filter Gallery. Now Filter Gallery does not work in all of the colour modes. You might find that some colour modes you will not get anything. Be aware of that. I'm using it in RGB. And then you can go to say Film Grain or Rough Pastel, and again you can modify the different settings. So you've got here stroke detail, scaling, but there's also other options as well, such as distort. And you can go here and you can select glass. So glass is a great effect. Great thing about glass is that you've got this scaling, so you can modify the scaling, smoothness, but also what you've got is this, where you could got 4 options. You've got blocks, canvas, frosted, etc. But also at the side, there's an option here to select here and load texture. And you can load PSD files. That's the format for Photoshop. So if you've got PSD files, you can use that, and that will be used in the distortion, a bit like the displace filter in Photoshop as well. Now you'll notice I've still got these two. I can delete it. So if I don't want that halftone effect, just go down here and just go here and delete. And now you can see the distortion. Obviously the black effect has gone, and you can see the smoothness, and you can modify this to create all kinds of weird and wonderful paint-like effects within the filter gallery. And change the settings. You can invert it as well, just a slight change there if you do that, and then click cancel. And the great thing about this is you've got this down here. You've got the smart filters. It's a smart filter. You can change it at any point. So all you need to do is just go to the filter gallery, double click, and it brings it up again. You can then modify it, maybe go here and add some other effects, etc. And click OK. Another great option about this is you can go down here and you've got the blending mode. So you just click here, double click, comes up eventually, and you can go through darken and colour burn, and you can create a variety of different colourful options just by changing this, by running through vivid light, etc. and click OK. As mentioned, you can still use it later at any point, as long as it's still a smart object with the smart filters attached. Any image can be turned into a smart object. As soon as you do that, when you apply a filter, it's going to turn into a smart filter. That means the filter gallery can be modified at any time. So if you set it to say glass distortion or a sketch effect, you can always change it. So you can always go in and change it maybe to a halftone effect or any other effects. You can also tweak the settings as well much later. So you can always make and change your decisions on that filter. The great thing about being a smart filter, it's non-destructive. And you can also, of course, apply any other filter. So filter, and maybe go down here to blur and Gaussian blur. So you can just apply a quick Gaussian blur, or of course any others. And again, you can see it over here. You can also at any point disable it, just bring back that effect, or disable the actual filter gallery effect if you don't want that. Also use the filter gallery with channels. So go to window and then down to channels. And in channels, you've got this option here to select, say, red. Obviously, if it's RGB document, it will have red, green, blue. If it's CMYK, it will be different. So select red, then go to, again, filter and down to filter gallery. So it's still available, and you can apply the effect, modify the setting, distortion, and click OK. Go to the green, just simply select the channel in this panel, and then again go to here, and again you could use filter gallery or the filter gallery at the top, and then again modify the setting, maybe change the scaling, and or use another effect. Let's just go for sketch as well. So down to the bottom if you want to add another one, so click plus, and then maybe go with halftone there. Got halftone effect, again modify the settings and click OK. Once you've done that, once you've done all the various changes, you can then simply just go back to the RGB, just click there, and now you can see you've got a slightly more unusual visual effect using the filter gallery. One thing I love to do is change the colours. Lots of the filters you apply it and it's just bang, that's it. That's what you get. But a great useful way of doing some different colour work is to use the powerful channels panel. Channels panel means you can go and change the red for that filter, the filter gallery. But also you can go in and change the green with maybe different settings, and then also with the blue channel. And then you can combine them all back into the RGB, of course, depending on the colour mode for your image. But also what you can do is you can apply the effect multiple times to say just the red channel, maybe totally not touch the green or blue, or maybe apply different effects to those. And then again, you can combine them to create some truly unique imagery. You can also use the filter gallery with selections. So just go over here and select the rectangular marquee tool and select part of the image. You could of course use other selections, maybe the objects in the image. But with this selected, all you need to do is go to filter and then down to filter gallery, and you can see the effect there. Obviously change the settings, change different settings here, and click OK, and you've got that lovely visual effect applied just to that part of the image. The filter gallery can be modified and controlled by selections. Also masks, of course, as well. But you can simply set up any number of selections, maybe use object selection, or maybe use a circular selection, or a rectangular selection, or use the freehand selection tool, and then with that you can apply your filter gallery effect to that part of the image, or maybe the inverted image. You can always use that as well. And then you've got that effect, and then of course you can then invert it again back to the original selection and apply maybe a different filter gallery effect to that. Well, I hope you found this tutorial about the filter gallery of interest. Any thoughts, questions, please put in the comments below and I will try and answer them.